You are now in front of the Dolence hut, Dolencheva Kaja, where Fran Saleski Finzgar spent a happy childhood in the company of his exceptional father. The house opened its door to the general public in 1971. Fran Saleski Finzgar took his vows out of a strong conviction that as a priest he could do his very best for the benefit of the Slovenian people. In all of the many places he served, he had a significant social, economic and cultural impact due to his many talents. He liked people and was himself liked wherever he went. Each winter he held around 50 lectures on fruit farming, raising cattle and construction. His topics also included culture, literature and politics. Finzgar drew plans for shepherds' dwellings and cheese dairies and built many water supply systems and commercial buildings. He even contributed to the regulation of rivers. He was in charge of cultural events wherever he served and also founded a school. He was among the first priests of the Ljubljana diocese to ride a bike. Back as a pupil, he was the first to guide people through villages where the cultural heritage path, Podkulturna dediščina, winds today. Finzgar proudly explained and wrote, "There is only one Breznica," so often that it has passed into the lore of folk saying. His activities in educating people spanned 3 decades. After the First World War, he was the secretary and later the editor of the first Slovenian publishing house, Mohoreva Družba. Finzgar saved the publishing house from ruin and completely reorganized it. After the Second World War, his reputation saved the publishing house from closure. He was assisted by the authors Prejahov, Franz and Franz Belk in his efforts. Finzgar relocated the first Slovenian family magazine, Mladika, from Gorizia and became its editor. Through the magazine, Finzgar became a mentor to young writers for many years to come. He was a co-founder of the company Nova Založba, as well as its chairman and editor. Nova Založba focused on publishing Slovenian and foreign classical works, including Slovenian folk tales and tales composed by individual writers. The books were supplemented by original illustrations of Slovenian artists. Finzgar was also a co-founder of Slovenian Radio. He was granted the privilege of addressing the audience during the first broadcast as a distinguished author with a great talent for acting. Finzgar translated the libretto of the opera The Queen of Spades and a part of Dante's Divine Comedy in the first Slovenian translation. Finzgar was a born pioneer and raised as a patriot. He greatly admired Prešeren and was proud to be his kinsman. Tomo Zupan, the first Prešernologist and relative of the great poet, as well as Finzgar's mentor, initiated the idea of setting up a museum in Prešeren's birthhouse in Vrba. Finzgar accepted the idea and founded the museum, which served as an example to Slovenes who bought the houses of writers and poets with the aim of preserving architectural heritage, enhancing national awareness, and nurturing the Slovene language. The most important literary works. A writer has to do nothing more than discover the things in nature that others pass by with open eyes yet do not see. F.S. Finzgar, Isidor Tsanka, The Visit, 1911. The Forester's Son, Gozdaryev Sin, 1893. An Engagement at Midnight, Zoroka Opolnichi, 1894, were written while Finzgar was studying in secondary school and in seminary. Triglav, 1896, an Alpine idyll, was composed in Bohin. His short stories Clover, Detalitsa, 1899, and On High, Kvishku, 1899, drew from the lives of bourgeoisie. People from Finzgar's native environment were depicted in stories such as Enough Penitence, Devol Pokoria, 1900, The Old and the New House, Stara and Nova Hisha, 1901, and in the play The Poacher, Divji Lovec, 1902. This first Slovenian social novel is Finzgar's From the Modern World, Iz Modernega Sveta, 1904. His collections of lyrical, personal accounts and short stories include Spring is Taking Leave, Pomlad se poslavlja, 1900. My Soul is Courting, Moja dusha vasuje, 1903. And They Met, Srečala sta se, 1905. Every Slovene is familiar with Finzgar's great historical novel, Under the Free Sun, Pod svobodnim soncem, 1906 to 1907. Many Slovenes bear the names of his heroes, Istok, Irina, etc. It took 4 years to write the novel that lifted national awareness and pride. The novel was very well received by readers and was often performed on the stage. The American film company Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer collaborated with the Avala Film Company from Belgrade and produced the film script that was approved by Finzgar. However, the film was never shot as he wanted Slovenian, or at least Slavic, actors to feature in the leading roles. His tribute to rural folk was combined in his most beautiful stories: The Maid Anška, Dekla Anška, 1913, The White Groom, Beli Ženin, 1925, and Uncles, Strici, 1927. The latter was also recorded on film. Finzgar's most prized works also include his haunting images of war that bear the common title foretold, Perukovana, 1915 to 1919. The individual titles being Images of the Future, Prerokbe Zoria, The Fights, Boji, The Chronicles of Mr. Urban, Kronika Gospoda Urbana, The Pigeons Field, Golubova Nieva, Paintings Without Frames, Slike Briz Okvira, and Disaster, Polum. His original folk stage plays reached a high artistic level. Our Blood, Nasha Kri, 1912, tells about the French occupation, while The Chain, Veriga, 1914, tells of clashes among neighbours and ensuing litigation. His most acclaimed stage play, The Ruin of Life, Razvalina Zvilenya, 1920, delivers a message about the devastating consequences of greed and alcoholism. The plays are still performed on Slovenian stages today. Finzgar held his 7 Images of Lent, Sedem Posni Podob, 1938, religious contemplations in high esteem. He delivered them on the radio during Lent. The second edition was spread globally in 1,000 copies by Slovenes from refugee camps in Koroška, who read them continuously. Their children would also read them to their descendants. The contemplations were translated to 7 languages. The French translation was published in 6 editions in Canada and Switzerland. In France, the work was also published in Braille. After he retired, Finzgar began writing for youth. His autobiographical stories, Let Him Be a Student, Student Najbo, 1915, and Mr. Hudornik, Gospod Hudornik, 1941, including his grandfather's tales collected in From the Days of Youth, is Mladi Dni, 1953, and folk tales in Makalonca, 1944, edited, designed, and illustrated by Slovenian's greatest architect, Jože Plečnik, accounted among the greatest works of Slovenian youth literature. The My Years of Travel, Leta mojega popotovanja, 1957, is considered one of the best-known biographical works of Slovenian writers. Such work, with so much acclaim, could only be created by a person who carries a great love for his people and strongly believes in the power and beauty of education. E. Kospek, Mohorive Kolada, 1949.